Colour Blast fans, it is Melinda here with you today, and I am sharing something a little bit different with you for my first post as part of my third term with Colour Blast. So I was struggling for an idea. I knew I just wanted to get out my goodies and play, so I jumped on Google and simply searched quotes. That image that came up before with the diamond jumped out at me. I love pink, I love diamonds. The black really helped make it pop. So I decided that I was going to use that quote as my inspiration and go from there. So all I've done so far is I've grabbed my art journal, and you can see there's some diagonal lines in the background. That's from another project where I just wiped my excess off. And I've just gone in with a wide, very bristly paintbrush and applied a really quick coat of the white heavy gesso. Now I haven't been really careful to make sure it's smooth or anything. I wanted the texture of the bristles, so I've just basically smeared the gesso on with the paintbrush, and I used my heat tool to dry it off. What I'm doing here is adding some colour. I am using the beautiful colour Shimmer Dusts, and this one is Lollipop. So all I've done is grabbed a little paintbrush, sprinkled a little bit of the colour onto the page, spritzed it with water, and then I'm just moving the page around to get the colour to move. Wanted a bit more colour, so I just grabbed the same paintbrush and did the same technique again. You can see there the streaks from the paintbrush, and I really like the texture of that. So I'm just adding more water each time I add more dust and just moving the colour around the page. See here that I'm soaking up a lot of the excess water. Does help to save a bit on drying time because I do come in with my heat tool. So you can see that's all dried off. Now I've seen quite a few different layouts and things recently using lots of washi tape, and I thought, you know what, I've got this big stash of washi. I'm gonna use some of it. So I pulled out the pink and the black and the white washi tapes, well, some of them from my stash, and I'm literally just tearing bits off and adding them to the page. So you can see with that really wide one with the roses, I've decided to make a cross pattern, and essentially I just work in that that straight up and down and across the page, just to give a bit of texture. I do go over this again so the colours aren't so bold, the patterns aren't so bold, but it does give a nice background, a nice texture and dimension to the background. So all I'm doing is tearing the washi randomly from the roll so it goes all over the place. And I had lots of fun doing this I didn't overthink it. I didn't put too much thought into it. I just tore strips off and stuck them down. This is a really wide gold spot washi tape, and it's one of my favorites in my stash, but it's one that I've maybe been hoarding. So I decided I wanted to seal that, make sure that the washi tape didn't come up, but also make sure that any colour that I added on top didn't move that pink that I'd already put down. So I've just grabbed some gel medium. It's a matte version, and I'm just using my paintbrush to apply that straight over the top. And then once that's dry, I give that a blast with my heat tool. Then I decided that the colours were too bold, so I decided to come in with some more of the white gesso. I did start using a paintbrush, but then decided it was way too thick. So I'm just using my finger to rub that in. When I used the paintbrush, it was really thick and completely whited out all of the pattern from the washi. So I've just used my finger to smear it out around, and then a baby wipe to move some of the excess and just to get it to move around the page a bit more. So that's given me a nice clean place to add some more medium. So I decided to do some stamping. I've just got a couple of, this one's a text stamp, part of a set from Bo Bunny. And then I come in with that diamond shaped stamp. Now I have super sped this up, so I don't know that you'll be able to see it, but right here, my stamp stuck to the gesso, and I have this patch where there's no gesso, and I did toy with the idea of applying more gesso, but decided just to leave it and run with it and see what happened. A bit more dimension, texture. So I'm just drying that off with my heat tool, and I decided here that I wanted to play with my Midnight. Is it Midnight? I think it's Midnight. Let me check. No, it's not. It's my Dusty Charcoal Shimmer Cube. So they're the little cubes with the dry hard paint in them, and you activate them by adding some water and leaving it to sit. So I've added that colour down, decided that was a bit too dark, and I'm going in again with another wet baby wipe and just moving some of the colour around so you can see some of that washi come through again. I was really careful to start with, and then I just kind of went, you know what, I'm just gonna move the colour. And so you can see at the top and the bottom I've got some really lighter spots where it's quite obvious that I've like smushed the colour, and I really like how this looks. I decided I wanted to add some splatters with that Dusty Charcoal, and I've left that one to air dry. This is the next day, and I've come back in. I knew I wanted to add some gold because, I mean, it's about diamonds, so why wouldn't I add gold? Grabbed a stencil, grabbed my bling colour paste, and again, I'm just working in that cross down the page and across. And you saw that I dried that first section off with my heat tool. I didn't completely dry it because I didn't want it to bubble, so I just dried it enough so that it was touch dry, so that I could go in with the stencil in those other places. I have put that aside to air dry. Like I said, I didn't want it to bubble. And then I've cut these diamonds and that word, which you can't see right now, up the top it says diamond, on my Cameo, and I wanted to add a bit of texture to the word, so I'm using my bling. I wanted to add a bit of texture to that word, so I've used that same text stamp. Then I'm coming in with my bling shimmer cube over just the word. I think I moved this up a little bit in a minute for you so you can see it a bit better. Now I am working straight onto my Cameo mat here. I've just found that it's an easy way to make sure I get a good coverage without losing bits and pieces. There you go, I just moved that up a little bit for you. I have given it quite a liberal coat because I didn't want it to be a really subtle coat, so I've gone in quite thick with that. And dry that off with my heat tool, and then I decided to come into the diamonds. I needed to bring a bit more pink in, and I'm using my blush and my punch colour shimmer cubes, and you can see I am literally just adding colour. I'm not thinking about it, I'm just smearing it on with my paintbrush however it goes on. Where it's a bit thick, I just add a bit more water and move the colour around. So I'm just going to make sure there's colour all over all of those diamonds. There are a few bits where it's a bit lighter than others, but that's, I guess, the tendency, the nature of watercolour. So I'm just going to dry that off quickly with my heat tool. Now I wanted to add some splatters. I didn't want to get any pink on the word diamond, so I've just covered that up with a scrap and doing my splatters. And then I wanted to add some of the bling all over. A quick close-up of that all dry. I really love how this looks. So these are the only two diamonds I end up using on the page. As you saw, I did make a few. My boys got one each and they were super excited. Just picking up the dot, and here's the diamond. And now it's just time to assemble the page, I think. I'm just going to grab a clip and so that stays down. Oh, some more bling splatters, this time directly onto the page, because one can never have too much gold apparently. I'm really happy with how this page came together. It was just me playing, and time for me to stick it down. I've just showed you roughly where I'm going to stick everything. It's really hard to see here, but there is actually some cheesecloth behind that word diamond. Just wanted to give it a little bit of separation from that texture in the background. So I do save you the pain of watching me glue all of this down, I think. I show you a couple of letters. The whole quote reads, "You're a diamond, dear, they can't break you." it really spoke to me when I saw it. We've got a lot happening in our lives at the moment, and yeah, as I've mentioned in other videos, my big boy's having a few dramas, and yeah, just really spoke to me. So I lost one of my letters, and then I found it as soon as I put a new one down. I decided I needed a bit more flat black, so I've come in with my Road Base colour spray, adding some splatters. And that's me done. Here's a quick close-up in video. I really love how this came together. It was lots of fun just playing. Honestly, if you feel like playing, just get your products out and have a go. It's so fun. And, you know, even if you hate where you get to, you can cover it up with some more gesso and start again. So here's a few close-ups. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by. There will be links in the description box below for everything that you need if you wanted to recreate something like this, or just get some products to stock up your stash. I'm very, very thrilled and excited to be with Colour Blast for another term. So thank you very much, Tanisha and Mel and Kay. Thank you again for stopping by, and have a fantastic scrappy day. Bye.